Here we are. It's already June. I missed an opportunity to do the newsletter last month, so we'll cover a good amount of data right out the gate. We'll look at the Beacon report. This one just came out a few days ago. Median home price jumped up to $795,000. Again, we know that the median price will fluctuate dramatically depending on a couple of big sales here and there. This same time last year, 772. May of 2024, 753 was the median home price. So it's time for me to admit that I was wrong. It's weird, that happens every once in a while. I really predicted, I think I started saying at the end of last year, and I've said it all this year, that inventory would dramatically increase and that we'd have more inventory than we did last year, which is significant because last year was about the most inventory we've had in 10 years. Well, it hasn't come to fruition. Even the Beacon report reflects that with 3.5 months of inventory right now. This same time last year, we were already up to 5, and then last summer in 2024, we hit 4. So perhaps my prediction of the inventory climbing is not going to come to fruition. But in my defense also, the number of sales is up quite a bit. Even here, we can see 157 sales in the month of May. Last May, we had 140, and in May of 2024, 128. This is an 8% increase when we just look at this data on this chart for the same time last year. So year over year, up 8% according to the Beacon. As we move into summer, I think if you've watched these videos enough, you've seen this data. The market picks up. Looking at 13 median days on market, this is actually faster than the same time last summer. A little bit closer to more what we saw in the summer of 2024. So not only are more homes coming off the market, but they're moving at a pretty good pace. We'll touch on interest rates in just a moment, but it's actually surprising. We know rates are higher and we're still seeing a good amount of conventional financing. Last month, 100 compared to 41 cash deals. That's enough of the Beacon report. I want to show you the MLS data that I often pull up for you. This is sort of snapshot of this week comparing to this same time a year ago. I made this graph a little bit prettier here. So in this graphic, the very top, this is that current week. Single family homes under an acre in Bend. We have currently 560 actively on the market. 164 of these are pending, so they are under contract. And in the last 30 days, 166 have sold. If you look down there at the bottom, this is this same week a year ago, and you can see that difference in active inventory. We just don't have as much as we did last year. Pendings are pretty much the same, but again, sold units are up. And it may be a little surprising to some to see sales up with interest rates doing what they're doing. Our Freddie Mac chart here shows us 6.5% for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. This has gone up in the last 30 days, last 60 days, for a whole host of reasons. But there was a lot of speculation that rates would come down this year. Maybe we would get into the 5s. I really didn't think that was going to be possible, or I thought if we got below 6, that would be a huge victory. But here's what's pushing against us. Inflation is taking off again. Latest inflation chart according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So as long as inflation is pushing up on us, it's pretty hard to justify that you'll see lower mortgage rates. So I wouldn't think rates will go up too much higher from where they are, but my guess is they'll sort of stay here, maybe get back into the low 6s towards the end of the year if a lot of things improve. Okay, 2 more charts that we'll take a look at. I've showed you this data before. I think it's just good to look at this every once in a while. Again, this is a little bit more of an attractive graphic, but these are those sales from 2020 to 2025 across the United States. So obviously you see that big spike in 2021. That was the highest number of sales since 2005. And then in 2024, we saw the fewest number of sales since 1995. 2025 performed a little bit better. And hopefully with the way the data is reflecting, 2026 will continue to improve off of that. Here's another breakdown of that same data. You can see median home price across America is up almost 27%. Mortgage rates are up 3.75. Days on market up 57%. Those 2020 COVID days were a very fast-paced, aggressive market. And then, of course, inventory. We do see inventory up nationwide. And I think as we go through sort of this correction or adjustment from the 2020 or 2021 peak, it's not the same across the country. Austin, Texas is performing different than Bend, Oregon. So I think that's important to remember when you hear these broad news stories about the health of the market across the nation. You have to consider where we live. Okay, the very last thing I want to pull up, this is not to be braggadocious, this is to say a sincere thank you. I landed at number 28 for individual sales across the state of Oregon. I cannot thank everybody enough for trusting me to help you buy and sell houses and be a part of your journey in one of the biggest purchases of life. Also, talk about changes from 2020 to 2025. I am the proud owner of a lot more gray hair than that photo reflects from 2020, so should probably get an updated headshot here real soon. All right, thank you as always for watching. I appreciate you guys, and we'll touch in next month.